Hello, I'm Bruce Zimmerman, and this is the Open Line Garden Show podcast for this week. Now, recently I attended the Garden Writers Association meeting, and of course, there's always some products there that are promoted, in this case, often given as a promotion to try and see. And, if we like them, then we can say so. Well, one of the nice things about this is the fact that I get to see some of the newest stuff before even you do. Now, the first one that I've got is the Mark's Choice hose nozzle. Now, it's got a high flow shower on it, and that's good if you're going to water the garden. But at this time of year, I haven't been doing a lot of watering in the garden. But when it came to washing my car in my driveway, it was really great. The jet was good for not only rinsing the car, but also for rinsing down the driveway after all that debris from winter. So it worked out really well. What I liked about it was this. It's got the band around the top that's like a rubber bumper, so that if you happen to drop this, that it bounces a little bit and protects it from being broken. The other thing is it's got a range of different settings for the flow, and it's got the jet, it's got the soft flow, it's got a cone as well as a shower, and it's a soft shower, and then there's a heavier shower. So you've got a couple of settings there, but there is also a knob at the top of the gun trigger that allows you to regulate the amount of flow on each setting. So in other words, it's like a ball valve, and it's got a plus and minus, and you just work it along till you get what you want in the setting of the actual setting. So each and every setting has varying settings, which is good. It's a one-handed nozzle. It fits well in my hand, and it locks so that you don't have to continually grip this. You can let it go and it still flows, but it quite easily goes and unlocks as well. Threads in well, and it has a filtered washer in the handle as well. So it's an excellent product to try, and I like it because, well, let's be honest, it did a good job of washing my car, which is something that doesn't happen very often, so it was really dirty. So let's be honest, it worked, and it did a good job. Now the next thing was a Dramm water wand. Now the Dramm water wand has something similar to the Mark's Choice gun nozzle. Now here is a wand that has a ball valve control for on and off and everywhere in between. It threads inside the handle so you don't have that loose when you drop it or whatever that bends and doesn't fit right and leaks. So it's solid that way. It also has at the top end an adjustable cone nozzle. And you've got all different kinds of settings on here. You've got mist, you've got angle, cone, center, rain, shower, stream, fan, flat fan, and of course, again, the mist. And you can choose whichever one best suits your watering needs. It's a 30-inch aluminum wand, and it's got a little bit of a cushion around the top of the nozzle, so if you do drop it, it does give you some protection as well. It also acts as a grip for turning the knob so that you can set it for different types of settings. So that makes it really quite interesting. I like this one. And of course, the one I got happens to be in purple, well, violet, whichever you want to call it. The next tool that I got was a Corona Flex Dial Comfort Gel Gripped Pruner. Now, person with small hands cannot go and prune very large branches. So if you are one of those people that you don't necessarily have strength or size of hand, then you can adjust this pruner to fit your hand and the job. It does expand out to do branches up to 3/4 of an inch wide. My recommendation is that you do not go all that way. Usually what I find is if you're starting to prune branches at 3/4 of an inch, you should maybe get out your Corona handsaw. Now, the Comfort Dial allows you to set the width of the handles, and that will allow you to set the size of the pruners for your individual hand. And I found this was excellent. I gave it to my daughter, who has a smaller hand than even I do, and she was able to adjust it and do work effectively in the garden, helping me to prune down some of the ornamental grasses that I have left up for winter interest this year. They lock. They have a gel handle, which is to add to comfort. The blades are coated so that they're steel, but they're carbon steel, strong, and they are coated so they slide through your branch a little easier and with less resistance. So basically this pruner goes from small to extra large, and you get to pick and choose anywhere in between, and there is a lot of settings. I believe the settings are around 7 of them, and I really did like these ones. I tried these ones as well as my daughter, and we do like them very much. Now the next one was from Premier Tech. Now Premier Tech produces a lot of professional mixes as well as mixes for the home and garden. So you're probably used to hearing Pro Mix as something for your containers for seeding, etc., and improving soil in your garden. But this one is their grass seed. Now, their Pro Mix Premium Grass Seed has a microactive additive to it. Now, this does make it a little more resistant to a lot of nasty things. So, we're talking mainly diseases. So, you've got a grass seed mix that does well in sun and shade. It starts at a cooler temperature, which is important for us in a northern climate. Most grass seeds are going to start somewhere around 10 degrees before they germinate. That's 10 degrees Celsius. This particular mix will actually start at 4, which means that if you put it out a little early, you can still expect germination and growth at a much earlier stage. And of course, you suddenly get a setback in temperatures that doesn't really adversely affect it. It is also good and active growing grass up to 32 degrees Celsius. So that's excellent as well. It will tolerate high foot traffic. It has Kentucky bluegrass varieties in it. It has the creeping red fescues and annual rye, perennial rye, and it makes up 98% in grass seed. And the other 2% is the active ingredient in here to make it that much better. What you're going to find is that this grass seed basically starts to be effective after 7 days from seeding, that it is going to grow about 2 times faster than you're used to, and it's going to fill in approximately 89% thicker than you're used to. So don't overseed this one. This grass seed, if you're going to be overseeding an existing lawn, will do 2,500 square feet. If you're just going to be repairing a thin lawn, then it'll do 1,250 square feet. And in bare patches, new lawns, etc., it'll do 625 square feet. So it's a reasonable amount of grass seed, which is tolerant, easy to look after. It's also going to take foot traffic, which means it's great in your backyard and looks good in your front yard. So, you got kids who like to play in the backyard. Well, this one is excellent. It also means that if it starts earlier in the spring and you're out there gardening and you're doing all that walking around, usually around the edges of your lawn, that is where your garden is, then you're going to find that this is going to tolerate that type of abuse at a much lower temperature. So that's excellent as well. So you know that this one has been designed to accommodate the way you like to garden, which means I like to get out there as soon as I can in the spring and as long as I can in the fall. So it is good to use the ProMix Ultimate Condition Grass Seed, and I think you'll find that you'll really like this one. And I'm going to be doing this one as an overseed and as a patch in my front yard. But in my backyard, I'm thinking of doing it as a top dressing, or like overseeding, because my back lawn is good, but it has got many different grass seeds from many different people who have seeded, sodded, etc. But also it faces south and is very hot and can be very dry. So I think that this one will actually encourage the one half of my lawn that responds well in the spring, does poor in the summer, and the other half that does well in the summer but responds very slowly in the spring. So there's some new items that you can take a look at this year in your garden centers. On the Corona, I'll give you the code number for it so that you can find the Corona Flex Dial with Comfort Gel grips, and its code is BP4214. Mark's Choice Hose Nozzle is exactly that. You'll find it at Home Hardware. And the ProMix Grass Seed Mix and ProMix you will find at Home Hardware, but also at many other garden retailers. The Dramm Water Wand, you'll have to look to see who carries the Dramm. They are a very popular and well manufactured and tested product. So you will enjoy this particular wand as well. I'm Bruce Zimmerman. This is the Open Line Garden Show podcast for this week.